Hello. Okay, looks like YouTube is working. I've been battling my ass off to get this thing to work on Facebook. So just hang in 1 second with me as I get Jo-ann onto this stream. Hello. Okay, looks like YouTube is working. Right, today I'm going to chat with a very good friend of mine called Jo-ann Stokes. She is a really amazing wedding photographer based in Cape Town, and we've been friends for a good part of 8 or 9 years. We met through Facebook, and it was via the landscape photography that we actually became friends. So it's an honor for me to have her on my stream today. So, right, we're just going to chat with whatever comes up, and some photography and some life and all those fun things. So, right, so let's get Jo-ann in here.
Okay.
Hello.
There we go.
I'm just posting on my Facebook page here that people should go look there.
Probably won't come. How's it been going with all the rest?
They will come. Okay, just give me 1 second.
Does it work well on Facebook?
When it works, yes.
Sure.
Okay, let me just see if it's here. I just want to pin it to the top so people can see it.
And could I copy it and share it later?
Yeah, you can copy it and post it on your stuff now so people can go and have a look at it.
How do I do that? Invite?
Go onto my Facebook page and you can see it there. You can just click either share or it'll ask you where you want to share it to.
Page or my just Jo-ann Stokes?
No, you can share it to both if you want.
So how do I share it onto Facebook? I mean, just copy this link. Let me try it.
No, go onto my Facebook page on Facebook, and then you'll see it there. And then that link you can just copy and share.
Okay, let me get to.
Okay, when you're good to go, you just let me know.
Just trying to find it.
Wait, I can see it.
Okay, here we go. So, okay, share to. Just give me a second. Okay. I think I've shared it. There we go. Done. Good to go.
So let's start again. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Brush my hair.
Yeah. It's I hate it when these things don't want to work as it should. And I think there's quite a few people that was interested in coming to our conversation. Just see. Oh, there's a couple of people. There's someone that already like. I think people will come onto the live feed on YouTube and come and have a chat to us here. So, how are you? We had a quick chat earlier. So, are you coping with the whole COVID thing at the moment at home with the kids and?
I was just saying to somebody though, it's not that different for photographers because we get locked down on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, not Saturday and Sunday. So I mean, we're pretty used to it. But yeah, having everybody at home is a little bit stressful. They're eating me out of house and home, so that's expensive. You can imagine, like 4 adult men eat like horses.
Yeah, I've said it to everybody, but there's a joke going around saying that those little masks will probably not keep you from getting the virus, but it will keep you from eating all your food in 3 days if you wear it at home.
True, absolutely true. I must admit, I'm trying hard not to flip and become one of those bored fridge eaters because, oh my gosh, it's so easy to go and bake and, occupy time like that. But yeah, trying hard not to. It's difficult.
Tell me quickly, is all your work up to date now, or you still have some in your backlog that you're busy finishing up?
Clients' work is all up to date, basically. So I've actually just got one more blog post to do, but I'm waiting for the bride to just give me a few photos that she likes, but she's on the yacht. So, her time is a bit different to mine. So I think there's something like, 12 hours difference between us. So when she says, I'm working now, I'm like, getting ready to go to bed type of thing. So it's a little bit difficult that way. But hopefully by the weekend, I should have hers all done. Well, no, lie. It is the weekend. It's not the weekend. It won't be done. Next week. So, she hasn't given it to me yet, so it's fine.
On the topic of, I've got 2 questions with you there, because why I'm asking this, I've canned the blog on my website. I'm not doing any more blog posts. And the reason for this, I was keep on getting very far behind, and then like a year later and I can't post last year's weddings now and all those kind of things. So I completely stopped the blog, but I kept it in the background for SEO purposes, and it's still working. But do you find you get a lot of inquiries coming in from your blog still in 2020?
No, I mean, it wasn't like it was like 6-7 years ago, without a doubt. But, the thing is, it's a good reference to when you want to send clients through to have a look at your work. I mean, there they can see it. You know what I mean? So even if you're not really getting the interaction that we used to get, we definitely can still use it as a portfolio and that type of thing. So when I've got brides who are looking at me, don't really know much about me, then I can forward them there or Instagram. I mean, yeah, we don't really do it to Facebook anymore, but Instagram, definitely, I also use that. But Instagram is just one shot, you know what I mean? Like, whereas your blog gives you a more bigger idea of what you actually do. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but Instagram is more like a portfolio where you post your best.
Yeah.
I just find that I keep on putting back the blog post thing, and then it runs too far behind at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's difficult, I must admit, and as you know, blogging is so time consuming. I mean, it takes up so much of your time, and then of course you've got to make sure that your content is good. It's not just your photos. You've got to make sure your story is at least over 300 words, which is killing. I mean, like, and sometimes you've got a story to tell, but you haven't got 300 words to say about it. I mean, I've got lots of things to say about couples, whatever. But when I have to start forcing it, like the 300 words, then the story becomes a little bit, I don't know, stiff. Stiff. It's not a natural story then. So that I hate, I must admit. That frustrates me like nobody's business. I would rather just be a natural storyteller and be able to say it the way it is, but not be told by my hosting company that my story is a little bit too complicated for the readers out there because they don't read complicated stories. And I'm thinking, it's not that complicated, but yeah, it's a bit... So that's frustrating, you know what I mean? Like really, really frustrating. And then also making sure that all your photos have got your alt tags and all that type of thing. but you do what you need to do. And yeah, so I usually, what I now do is I actually do the story before I even upload the photos. So it's there and I make sure that it's all fine from the search engine optimization kind of thing. And then after I've done that, then I start with the photos, and then it doesn't feel as bad. So that works for me. It doesn't maybe work for everybody else, but it's the way I get around it. And yeah.
Okay. And the other question, like you said, you're waiting for the bride to come back to you. Do you let them choose the photos that they put up onto the blog post, or is that your decision?
Not normally. No, normally I make, for my blog posts, I normally make the decisions myself. But I know this bride would like to, you know, have her input, so that's fine. I give her input. So it depends on the bride, to be honest. I mean, 9 times out of 10, no. You know, but then if they come back and they say, oh, I really don't like that photo, and let's face it, it happens to the best of us. You know, like there's always a photo that somebody doesn't like or whatever.
Yes.
Something, you see something beautiful of that person, they don't necessarily see it of themselves. So yeah, I've had 1 or 2 where they say, could you mind deleting that photo or whatever, and then I'm quite happy to. I mean, that's not a train smash at all, because I'm a female, so I know what we're like. We're full of shit.
But also it's difficult because the blog should be there for your advertisement, I would say.
Yeah.
And
but I wouldn't, okay, let's put it 2 ways. I wouldn't put up on a blog post a photo that I didn't particularly like. Okay, so that's number 1. But there again, I wouldn't particularly give them a photo that if I didn't particularly like it. So, but having said that, as a woman, we see ourselves differently to the way everybody else sees them. I mean, I hate doing this. I have to be honest, like putting myself out there, I really, like, it's horrible. And doing selfies, I hate it. With a passion, I hate it. I'd rather be behind the camera any day.
yes.
So I do understand where women come from. So yeah, there's always going to be 1 or 2 that they don't like. But on the whole, I've been pretty lucky. I think most brides have loved their photos. So I haven't had anything major. But yeah, if there's a client and she's got a couple of issues, then I really don't mind helping them out. So it's fine. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I just want to type you quickly that we're live on YouTube.
Rooibos tea. Can you believe I'm drinking rooibos tea after all these years?
Well, you never drank rooibos tea.
No, I was a normal British tea drinker. And then I had to give up milk. And rooibos tea tastes a lot better without milk than normal British tea.
Okay. Yeah, no, I hardly ever drink tea at anybody's house if I can't make it myself.
Yeah, no.
I'm just,
yeah.
I'm full of shit with the way tea tastes. Yeah, the kids came
weak or strong tea?
strong and sweet.
Okay, I like strong, not sweet, no sugar.
The kids came into my office the other day, and they brought me tea that Karen made them, but in their little cups that they use for playing.
Yeah.
And I nearly died because it was weak, it was milky, it was I grilled to my deepest part of my soul from that stuff. No, it was horrible.
Well, I once, and I will never forget it as long as I live. I'm not going to skin her now. Okay? I'm not going to mention any names either. We were invited to this lady for tea, and she made tea, but she stewed it in the teapot with the milk and the whatever. Oh my gosh, it was, and we had to drink it. It was horrible. Anyway, did it with a smile on my face. Yeah.
So did she put the tea in the teapot with the bags?
And the milk.
Okay.
And then stewed it on the stove top. I've never ever seen tea done like that in my life. It was like weird.
Yeah,
didn't taste good either.
My grandma used to say that you should put your milk in before you pour your tea in, because as you pour in a warm tea, it will cook the milk, so it will taste better. And I don't know if it tastes different. Like I said, I'm too full of shit with tea to really notice a difference. But well, sort of makes sense.
How did we go from photography to tea? But yeah, you know me, I like my tea.
Yeah. So what else was there? I'm going to ask you about your website. I'll remember it as we carry on. So, what has happened to your inquiry since this whole coronavirus thing hit South Africa? You deal with quite a number of international brides in your weddings.
Yeah, no, everything's kind of just gone on hold. I mean, you know, I'm not the only one. Salary kind of just, you know, dried up. So it is what it is. But yeah, I still get a couple of inquiries, I must admit. But yeah, not a lot. But hopefully, you know, it all comes back again. Who knows? It's a funny world we're living in right now. I've never experienced anything like this in my lifetime.
And hopefully we don't experience another one.
No, not at all.
Like one of the gents that's going to be on my chat later on next week.
Yeah.
He used to work in big pharma companies at very high level positions. And we had a quick chat while I was just discussing with him what I want to talk about and all those kind of things. And he said to me that one of the problems now is that, okay, right, everybody's in lockdown, everybody's safe. So once we come outside now in a week and almost 2 weeks' time, what's going to happen then? If you come into contact, ideally you should limit yourself to being in contact with only with other people that was in lockdown, that you know they are clean.
Yeah.
But I think what's going to happen now is people are going to come into contact with people with the virus, and there's going to be huge flare-ups again, all from the start.
Well, Wuhan are talking about a second wave.
Yeah, we won't kill this thing in 21 days.
No.
And you said that you're going to have to look, if you really want to kill this, going to have to look at something in the range of 6 months to really fizzle it out. But that is, I can't see how anybody will survive after that. No. Any business, apart from the Pick and Pays and Checkers, will survive after that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I just feel sorry for the poor people too, because I mean, look, it's tough for us, but it's horrific for them. They've got nothing to fall back on. Yeah, scary times. Very scary times.
I think 95% of photographers don't have anything to fall back on.
Yeah, well, I've always been okay, but obviously at the moment we're building, so it came at the really shittest time, to be honest, you know, because obviously when you're building, all your available cash goes into building. So yeah, but it's what it is. Not complaining. There's people in far worse off positions.
I think those with a bit of money to spend will pick up some really awesome bargains in second-hand photography gear at the end of all of this.
Yeah, probably. Absolutely. Hopefully I'm not one of them. I mean, like, as in selling my gear.
I won't sell my, I've got lots of other stuff at home that I can sell, but I won't sell my gear. So.
Yeah, no, I'm the first one there. It brings me an income, so there's no ways that I would
not
sell
just
that.
I know you and myself, I don't do photography just to earn money with it. I do photography because I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would be, I don't know, it would be like losing a limb if I had to give away my camera. You know, it's just part of who I am.
Yeah, but if you think there's so many photographers out there, people that we know on social media, is that they are photographers to do weddings and make money with it. They don't pick up the camera at all for anything outside than a wedding.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of fun outside besides weddings. Hey, Dewald, we've had some really awesome landscape photography shoots.
Yeah, that's and all those landscape photography shoots I do for myself 100% of the time. And if I do get any print sales coming from that, or if I sell any of the images on the internet, then it's a complete bonus, a nice pocket money to get at that
Absolutely. time. I have to be honest, I must really get back into this whole the images going up on, what's it called? I used to be with Getty, and I used to sell with Getty, but with weddings, it didn't really give me much time. So I haven't done it for years and years and years, but maybe I should.
That's the other thing with weddings that we've also spoken about when we've had our teas and coffees and stuff, is that when you are busy in a wedding season, there's really nothing else you can focus on except weddings.
Yeah.
Week you're going to be in lockdown at home editing, and on weekends you'll be shooting, and then it will carry on like that for.
And it's not just the editing and the shooting, it's also the admin that goes with it. I mean, it's like you're replying to emails and you're sending out emails and marketing and you're doing the whole social media type of thing. And it's time consuming, you know, because you have to do social media in order to get those brides type of thing. That's the way we advertise nowadays. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
So it's time consuming. So it doesn't really give you much time for building up another sideline kind of business, which we should actually do, because I'm one of those people who believe in having a few avenues of income.
Yeah, but also, like you say, you need to put in the effort. If you just keep on saying I have to do it, and not start somewhere, it's like this thing that I've got here now. I've wanted to do podcast or something similar for a very long time, and this has sort of forced me to do that.
Yeah, it's amazing what things come around to force you to do that you can't keep putting off any longer. And then
unlucky. All my clients' work is up to date. All my client edits is done. I've got 2 or 3 products to shoot in the studio, but that will take me a morning to shoot and edit. So that is all I've got to do, and then focus on something like this. But my idea is now, when this is done, I'm going to still try and do this at least once a week with random people.
Oh, it's a very good idea. And I see you're not even just doing it with just photographers, you're doing it with all people in industry. So that's good.
Yeah, because that's interesting to me. It's interesting people. And if you just photography the whole time, and what a lot of the other guys do that do the live streams at the moment is they're selling their workshops, they're selling their presets, their one-on-one, what should we call it, one-on-one sessions, all those kind of things, but nobody's got money at this stage to buy those things.
True.
So
true.
It's pointless in doing that. And every second photographer is becoming a teacher now.
Well, I have to be honest, that is, don't particularly think that's my strength. I have 3 sons, and getting them through school was an absolute bloody nightmare. I used to hate homework. Couldn't teach to save my life. Yeah, so I suppose, if I'm passionate enough about it. I suppose photography is different. But when I had to teach the kids maths and science and whatever, not my ball game, eh? Rather pay somebody to do it.
Or you marry one like I did.
Oh God, no! My husband's even worse than me. It's a wonder our kids got through school, to be honest. But anyway.
But the thing behind this, and all the people from different walks of life, is to make connections between people that would not have made connections previously.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you really think about it, our connection goes back. I mean, I don't even know. I was trying to think about it the other day. I mean, when would you say I mean, God, it must be over 10 years?
Well, it's not 10 years since I started photography, but it must have been 2011, 2012, in that bracket.
Yeah, I think it was about 2011. So, okay, 9 years. Feels like longer. But I mean, yeah, we don't chat every day and that type of thing, but it's a friendship that you can chat to each other whenever, it's easy.
Yeah, but when we do see each other, it takes us, our little chat will take an hour, and then it will take another 45 minutes to say goodbye at the car. And then
I know. But we've always got so much to talk about when it comes to photography and landscapes and weddings and whatever. I mean, equipment. I mean, yeah. When I want to know something, I come to Dewald about equipment. Nobody else.
I try to help where I can.
Yeah, you do well. You do very
so
well.
and okay, apart from the weddings and the stuff you do for fun, I know that you're working on 1 or 2 other cool things. Do you want to chat about that, or?
Yeah, it was supposed to happen this year, but I've obviously decided to postpone what with the coronavirus thing. But I was going to do a workshop, but a little bit with a spin on it. So it wasn't really, I would say it was more of a portfolio building workshop. It wasn't I wasn't going to teach you anything. Like I said earlier, I'm cuck at teaching. So, but if you were asked me, I would help you. But I mean, like, yeah, teaching's not my strength. But yeah, there was, but it wasn't particularly to the norm. It's people who want to get portfolio shots in different kind of situations. So yeah, so unfortunately we've had to postpone it for this year. It will happen next year.
Yeah,
but the
portfolios is not something where they won't be able to set it up themselves easily without through the trouble that you've gone through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It will be done professionally. I mean, there will be a lot of thought gone into it. But it's not just a workshop as say. It's also obviously I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, it's a little bit more than just a workshop. It won't. Not everyone's going to want to do it, but it will appeal to a very small market.
Yes.
And that's what I'm aiming at. I mean, I don't
appeal to me.
Mr. Stokes giving me a lecture here. Yeah, so I don't want to really say too much at this stage because I've had to postpone, so it's a bit unfortunate about that. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about it maybe next year. I can give you more information next year, but watch this space. I mean, it's going to come and it'll be quite interesting, and I'm quite excited about it. But it's going to be quite a lot of work to plan. It's not just your normal kind of workshop.
Yeah, that's well. You've told me a little bit about it previously, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Okay, on another, 5 years ago, you guys took a really big leap and moved to Dubai.
Yeah. Was it oh my God, it's 5 years already. Shit.
Yeah. We went out to shoot those thunderstorms in the Karoo, and that was in 2015.
Yeah, and that was just before I left.
Yes. So tell me, what was the most difficult part in trying to set yourself up doing photography for other people if you immigrate to another country?
Okay, so it was a little bit different because we didn't really immigrate. Mark went across, my husband went across for work purposes, and according to his visa, I wasn't allowed to work. So I had to be very careful as to what I did. Obviously,
so you weren't allowed to work in Dubai, but you could shoot in London or wherever else you wanted.
Yes, absolutely. So I did shoot in Dubai, I have to be honest, but I was just clever about it. I made sure that I didn't do weddings in Dubai at that stage. I used to come home for the weddings that I was doing in Cape Town. But in Dubai at that stage, what I did was I just did the tourists. And I had a contract with a company somewhere in the States, I can't remember where, Santiago, I think. Anyway, and they would forward tourists through to me. They were coming in for either an hour or two into Dubai, and they used to pay me via PayPal. So that was quite cool because then I wasn't being paid in Dubai, So I felt it was like, okay, a little bit above board. It wasn't quite. But yeah, otherwise I would have died of boredom. I mean, like my kids were here. It was just me and Mark in Dubai, and he worked all day. And it took a while to, when you've got small children, it's easy to get into society, because you go to clinics, you go to doctors, you go to schools, that type of thing. But when you haven't got that, it's a lot more difficult. It's really, really difficult. And I mean, you know me, I'm quite a chatty person, so it wasn't difficult for me to chat to people. But see all the family going past there. But I have to be honest, the way people are throughout the world is very different to the way we are as South Africans. You know, we've got sense of humor. We don't mind, like, you know, giving a funny comment or whatever. Some people take offense. So, like, yeah, Dubai was very different. It was a total learning curve, to be honest, knowing that certain nationalities are very, very different from ourselves. And you have to be careful, you know. So, yeah, it was interesting. But I got to tick off quite a few things on the bucket list. I traveled quite a bit while I was there because it was cheap and easy, and I was earning, well, Mark was earning dirhams. Well, I was too. Actually, I was earning dollars, but anyway. So it was cheaper to travel. I mean, like, I actually remember sitting in Amsterdam and thinking, oh gosh, Amsterdam is cheap, you know, because in comparison to Dubai, it was cheap. But if I had to do that on the South African rand, I would have thought it was astronomical, you know. So yeah, I traveled quite a bit while I was in Dubai, and that was quite cool. So I did shoots like in London and Amsterdam and Germany and wherever. I mean, wherever I was given the opportunity, I shot. So that was quite cool, and did some desert shoots. Like, got some really fab desert shoots. In fact, one of my desert shoots came second in that Admired on Africa competition, and one of my German photos also came second on another, I actually don't know, another category. I can't even remember now, but anyway.
Nice.
So yeah.
But what advice would you say if you've got somebody come to you now saying, right, listen, we're planning on immigrating, what would you advise me to look for in making a big move like this?
Finding other photographers. I think those connections are pretty important. I did make connections with other photographers in Dubai. I met quite a few great girls from all over the world, Russia and wherever. And they do try and promote you and whatever. And they give you also the lowdown, because laws and that are very, very different in Dubai. I mean, like, we're pretty lucky in South Africa regarding the red tape. We really are. We don't have that much red tape in comparison to Dubai. And you have to have licenses and that type of thing in Dubai, which are pretty hectic from a cost point of view. And these girls were very helpful with that. So I would definitely say, you know, like, hook up with some photographers that are there, explain that you're coming over. I remember the first one I ever made, it was bloody difficult. I mean, like, you know, I looked around, Googled Dubai, photographers, that type of thing, and the first girl that came up, I Googled her and I just said, basically, I'm new to Dubai. I really would love to hook up or whatever. If you could give me some advice how to get into the industry and whatever. And for that, I saw she just had a new baby, and I said, and I'm happy to photograph like some newborns for you, which I did. And yeah, she was very helpful. I mean, she introduced me to not just photographers, she introduced me to a couple of my best friends that I made in Dubai, you know. So yeah, it was good. But it's different. It's very different. And you've definitely got to do the hard work. It's not easy. Definitely not easy.
Yeah, I think that's, look, I've got no, if I had the opportunity and I was young and single, I would have moved overseas in a heartbeat. Would not have had an issue to do it. But now with the family, it's difficult. I would still move, but I would think twice about doing it. And also, where you move, you'll have to think of carefully, because the grass is only greener on the other side because there's more shit. Or that's the way I see it.
Absolutely. You know what? We for all the hassles we've got in South Africa, we've still got a very good lifestyle here. Our kids can still play, well, within reason. You know, they've got beautiful fresh air. There's beautiful landscapes, that type of thing. There's different things overseas. I mean, you know, things that you aren't aware. Freedom of speech we've got here in South Africa. And then, you know what? when you don't have it, you realize how important it actually is. I don't have to be watching over my shoulder what I'm saying, who I'm offending, that type of thing. So, yeah, you had to, that was the one thing with Dubai. I mean, I had lots of fun in Dubai, don't get me wrong, but yeah, you definitely had to watch. I mean, WhatsApp, things like that. People are scared of saying the wrong things. You know, there's definitely an interesting, we just haven't been brought up like that. So yeah, I must tell you a story. I once went, we lived in downtown Dubai, which was right next to the where they do the fountains and the opera and the whatever, which is really a major tourist spot. Well, let me tell you about it. I mean, like, building 24/7, 365 days a year, and at night throughout. So you try and sleep, but they are drilling and whatever. And after a while, I mean, poor Mark had to get up and go to work and whatever, and he was just not getting any sleep. And I mean, it was hectic. It was absolutely hectic. So the one day I was walking downstairs with a friend, and there was this big group of construction guys, but, you know, men in suits with their construction hats on or whatever. And I went up to them. I said, who's in charge here? So, you know, like, you know, puff out their chests. Me, I'm in charge. And I said, and then I laid into him. I said, you know, it's not fair. We've all got to work. And, like, you know, you're keeping us up. Like, well, obviously in those kind of places, the women don't shit out.
Yeah.
Shit out men. You know me, I won't keep my mouth shut. So, yeah, it wasn't very appreciated, you know, but it did quieten down a bit. So I did get a little bit of relief, but oh my gosh, that was hectic. The building in Dubai was something chronic.
Yeah, but also I might be completely wrong in saying this, but because people are so afraid of offending other people, they just keep quiet. So as soon as somebody do open their mouth and say something, it's like they get a fright and they think, oh shit, because somebody actually bothered by this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But normally, like in places like that, yeah, women aren't quite as respected, which is, I've always been brought up to be a fairly strong female. I mean, from my parents' household to my husband's household, I mean, like, I'm equal. I don't look at myself as anything below. I'm an equal partner. That's it. You know what I mean? So living in that society was a little bit of a wake-up call. I mean, I've seen some things that were like boggled the mind. Really, really did. But then again, you know, there was also other things that kind of like opened your mind, you know, so you learned as well. So it was an interesting period. I spent 2 years there. And would I stay any longer? No, I think Dubai never really spoke to my soul, I have to be honest. It was okay. It was, you know, it was interesting to do, gave me the opportunity to travel. Is it where I would have settled down? No, absolutely not. Never wanted to, you know. So, yeah, it was just different, very different. I mean, Cape Town's always had my heart. I mean, like, there's not many places in the world that can compare to Cape Town. So, yeah, and I mean, like, I'm originally born in the UK, so I mean, like, I could go back tomorrow. I mean, that wouldn't, I've got the passport and whatever, but I don't want to. You know,
another good friend of ours, Dan, as well, who's a born Brit. He's British as you can get, and he won't go back to the UK. No,
I mean, we just have a really awesome, beautiful spot in the world, and I haven't traveled all over the world, but I've traveled a bit. I think one of the places that I thought was as pretty as Cape Town, but not quite, is Rio. Rio was pretty, very amazing landscapes as well. Just a little tired looking, if I can say it like that. But yeah, that was quite pretty. And there was a spot in Vietnam that I thought was quite pretty as well. But I wouldn't trade any of it for Cape Town. Cape Town would always be my first choice. Yeah. And I mean, our landscapes, I mean, like, really, I mean, I have to be honest, when I first got to Dubai, I struggled with landscapes because I thought, well, what the hell do I photograph? You know, like, it's a bit flat, you know, and I mean, like, deserts only have a little bit of interest.
a client that I've worked with who's from Saudi, and when he's in South Africa or in Cape Town, he phones me and then we go out shooting. And then we went last year, I took him one afternoon to Cool Bay. And
yeah.
we finished and we got to the car. He said to me, "What you see here, this is South Africa's oil reserve." It's because all the other countries got all this wealth and everything, but they haven't got what we have got to show.
No, nothing. I mean, I remember somebody raving about the beautiful beaches in Dubai, and I looked at it and thought, oh my God, like, you know, this doesn't compare anything at all to what we've got in Cape Town, you know, so, but they hadn't been to Cape Town, so they never knew, you know, so, yeah. So I must admit, so photography is like one of my first loves, but Cape Town is definitely, has my heart. It always has, always will be. I mean, yeah.
So what's next on the list in terms of traveling, or where do you still want to go?
I actually have got no list at the moment to travel. Can you believe it? I mean, I am quite happy to be back in Cape Town. We did quite a bit of hectic traveling. I mean, 3 weeks after we got back from Dubai, like permanently, we did a trip to Rio. And then last year I went to France. I actually did a workshop in France and met some really great ladies and had lots of fun. But at the moment, I've got no real lists to travel. If I'm going to travel, I want to travel in Africa. I've done some amazing trips in Africa, and I would love to do more of those. I did Botswana, I've done Zimbabwe, Namibia. Yeah, so there's lots.
Any of those photos, because we never see them.
But you know what it's like when you're a professional photographer. You do your clients' work, your personal stuff, you never do. In fact, Mark was moaning at me the other day. He says, well, if you look behind me, that one there was probably the one and only photograph that I actually did do for my Lesotho trip. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So it is on the wall. But I mean, I've got so many. I mean, Mark's forever moaning at me that he never sees the photos that we've done in Botswana. And I mean, I've got some stunning animal photos and whatever.
Fuck off with that, fuck off.
Can you hear Mark in that distance? Anyway, so yeah, I must. One day when I maybe retire, I'll sit there and start editing them all. I've got them. They're all on hard drives, ready for me. But yeah, so what you do is you kind of take 4 or 5 photographs, you edit them quickly, and you post it to social media. You think, yeah, I'll get back to it. I'll do a beautiful book one day or whatever. You never do. You never do, because you're just so busy with clients' work.
Yeah, I still want to do, because this year, 2020, is 10 years that I've been doing photography and earning money from it. So I was thinking of doing a book at the end of the year of my best photos for me over this last 10 years. But yeah, so now we stuck in, so I can't add anything to those photos.
It's a wonderful idea, but you know, the other part of it is, and this is the part that really horrifies me, if you go back 10, 12 years ago and you look at the photographs you were taking, you want to die of embarrassment because you used to think they were good. And the thing is, you do definitely get better as time goes on. So photographs from 10 years ago, you kind of think, oh my God, did I think this was good, you know? I'm sure you feel
it will be cool to go through and go and look at, put them all together and then look at them. Because now you've learned something new in editing or whatever, you can go back and make it better.
But you know what I've learned, okay, with editing is actually the more experienced I am, the less editing I do.
Yes.
So in the beginning, you did a shitload of editing. But now, as you're more experienced, you take it right in camera, really. You take it with the best light, and you just slightly enhance it a bit in editing. Yeah. So you actually do less.
Yeah, I'm going to have a chat tomorrow with Warren Fleming. Don't know if you've heard of him. He's down in Eisner. Warren is a good mate of mine. He's an Olympus ambassador. But what Warren does is he had a print shop, and he knows really well how to edit images for print, because there's 2 different ways. You might get the where you like the look, but that doesn't mean it's going to print well. And
True.
what Warren does is he does that. So often if I do get people that commission big or large prints from me, then I will send it to him first, and I'll say to him, listen, please have a look at this. And if there's any charge to it, I'll just incorporate it into the client's price at the end.
Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't mind watching that, because I think that's very important, is to make sure you edit for print purposes. Because at the end of the day, we hope that our clients print our work. Well, especially me, maybe not so much you, because you do it for landscapes and whatever, but for the brides and that type of thing, they do the wedding books and whatever. And, you know, we definitely have some that do it, but not everybody does it. And hopefully later on, when they are feeling more flush, they will. So you do want to make sure that the photos are ready for print.
I don't think our wedding clients really print so much of our images. I've seen images printed up in some people's homes that I know that I did weddings for and whatever, and then I get there and then I printed the web size image, the one that I resized with my little signature at the bottom. It was printed
Actually,
on the wall.
I've gone past that now, because I actually upload only the high-res images to the gallery. I don't actually give them a web size image anymore. And I think because most people are pretty savvy nowadays, that they know how to upload to social media, but they're not so savvy regarding the print. So if I give them the high-res image only, then they're not going to take the wrong one down to the printer.
Yes, but even though mine is labeled clearly for web and email and for print, they still go and pick the other one. But also I give the fault there to the print labs, is that they should see, listen, this thing is only 600 kilobytes big and you want an A0 print. You can do it with this. But often the people at the print labs know less than the brides about the printing.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah. And it's amazing how stupid mistakes, I mean, like things that you've maybe overlooked that should have been picked up at the printers, and they haven't. And that's annoying, you know, because then it ends up costing you, and it's something that they could have picked up quite easily.
Yes.
But anyway, that's another moan and groan. I'm not going to go there. It's not.
Your stuff to your clients 90% of the time through SmugMug.
Yeah, yeah.
You happy with that service?
Yeah, no, I actually do, and it's not just for the bride. What I like about their service is the fact that it's unlimited. So all my work is up on SmugMug. Like every client, I don't know, since I started, which is probably, I'm trying to think, probably about 4 years ago. All my work's there, and it's just made it so much easier for me. So if I'm hunting for a photograph, I no longer go look on hard drives and externals and whatever. I go straight through to SmugMug. I know exactly where I'm looking. It's easy, and it's just made my life simpler. And also for like the other suppliers, it's easy, instead of like sending them a few photos or whatever, giving them the link as well to make sure that they know they can choose what they want, because we don't necessarily always give them the right photos that they need for their business.
Those are the cake guys and all those.
Yeah, so your planners and your florists and your dressmakers and whatever, they want something completely different. They don't want couple photos and that type of thing. They want photos that display their work. So I give them the link, and then they can go and have a look and choose the ones they want. It just makes it easier. And then I'm also not spending time hunting for those photos. It just makes life a lot easier. Yeah.
Now, is your thing set up so that people can order prints and books and stuff from SmugMug with you?
Not at this stage. I have been looking into it. So at this stage, no. 9 times out of 10 with the books, I do the design of the books and I send it to my printers. And luckily, for the most part, most of my clients, when they've either had some relative that's here that's going over or whatever, you know, so it's been fine. I've actually my last book was actually probably the cutest. My groom, I'm not 100% sure of his age, but I know the bride was 68. But the groom was probably close on 80. But sure. He was the cutest groom, whatever. And he ordered a beautiful big book. So I met them in the waterfront, and he was so impressed. They've actually just gone over to Japan. I hope they got back safe. Because still, yeah, with this coronavirus at their age, it was a little bit of a worry. But anyway, cute couple.
Okay.
The other thing that I will also say has made such a difference in my life with wedding photography was Fundi, which is the design of the wedding books and the blogs and that type of thing. That kind of, I used to hate designing wedding books before. It used to be like, I mean, I used to do it, but it was such an issue because it was so time consuming. Fundi has made it a completely different ball game. I actually enjoy doing the wedding design books now. So, I mean, yeah, thank goodness for that. So those two things made a difference to my life.
Yeah, I would rather pay that 350 or 400 rand to Gilliam and they make creative albums and let them design it for me.
No, you know what? Fundi paid for itself within 4 albums, within 5 albums max. And it now allows me to make some money as well. Because, I mean, obviously, I get a design fee and whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it's just made a difference. I mean, I'm actually thinking of doing an advert now while we're all so quiet to all my brides and saying, listen, if you haven't had your books, like, if you want to support a struggling photographer, like we all are at the moment, have your books designed.
Yeah, they've all got time now. They all say, when we've got time, then we'll get a book.
Nobody's got that excuse at the moment.
Talking about Fundi, I see that they've also had a webcast, and Gilliam sent out an email to a link of one of theirs recently where they chatted to another photographer as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm thinking of asking Gilliam as well to come onto the show and see if he's keen to.
Yeah, no, you must. He's also a Fundi user. In fact, I actually got him onto Fundi. So, yeah, so because I told him about it when I first got on. So, yeah, he uses it as well. Often, like, put our heads together, make sure that we're doing it right, whatever. So, creative albums, definitely give them a shout out. They're definitely very good at what they do.
Yeah, no, they do amazing albums. I did for one of the clients, I can't remember if I showed you, is that we one of the hunting trips, I made them an album covered one of the animal skins, everything, and they did a fantastic job with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, the thing I like about Gilliam is that if you've got some ideas and he hasn't got it out there, he'll work with you to bring your ideas to fruition, type of thing. So, and I like that. You know, like I've like with my books, I didn't go with the norm. I wanted to make a more of a branded kind of wedding book. So he worked with me on that. So I was very grateful for that.
Yeah, so didn't you have like leather or something printed for the cover?
No, it was actually now I've forgotten what they call it. It wasn't leather.
Was it like an paper or something?
It's basically, gosh, what is it called? If I could find a bloody invoice, I could get it for you. Oh shit! It's like it's got my letter, the J of my name. Okay, so which has been printed in, and it's like can't really see it that thing, but it's got like a shininess to it. I don't know what they call it.
Okay.
So
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Yeah. I don't know what they call it now, but yeah, so I wanted that. So I wanted something that was a little bit of a, you know, more in with my branding.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the norm, you know, because we have to find ways of setting ourselves apart. Not that anybody will book you because your wedding book is branded, you know, I'm sure they won't, but you know, like
it makes just different.
Yeah, it's different. It's not the norm.
Yeah. So what's going to be on the cards as soon as this lockdown? What's the first thing you're going to do when lockdown is over?
Move. We've got to move out of here by the end of April. So we've got to move. And that should be fun because I'm moving in with my mother for a few months. So, yeah, that's going to be lots of fun.
When will you be finished?
The building. Well, unfortunately, the building has been delayed because obviously for lockdown, they can't work while it's lockdown. So that's a little bit painful. Or not painful, but I mean, yeah. So I don't know. We were hoping to be in by September, but I mean, like now, who knows? Who knows? I didn't catch you there.
It might be December.
Yeah, I would like to be in there by Christmas. I really would. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like money-wise, I don't know. I mean, it's just, you didn't foresee what was going to happen as well. So anyway, it is what it is.
Yes.
We will survive.
Right. It looks like we're coming up on our hour worth of chat on here.
Yeah,
It's
it
been
was just
55 minutes. Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to chat about or want to know from me, or before we say
So what are
goodbye?
you going to be doing after lockdown? Hopefully not making more babies.
Yeah. No.
Don't worry. I know exactly how you feel. That happened to me. I had 3 boys. You've got 3 girls. Yeah, it was like, oh gosh, how did that tap keep running?
That's that's definitely not going to be on the cards. I joked to someone. I said I'm going to go to Spur.
Why the spur?
I don't know, just to get out and see different people.
True, eh? I don't know.
Everybody's going to be paranoid. They're going to sit there with their mask on like this, and then they're going to take the mask off and take a bite. And so I just want to go there and look at funny stuff that's going to be out and about. Back
I must admit, that was one of the things that I used to laugh at in Dubai, because the ladies always used to wear the, what do they call them?
burkas.
Yeah, that's. And like, but when they went to eat, it was like pulling it up, and it was like quite a something to see. I have to be honest. But anyway, but you couldn't watch.
That unfortunately got to wear that, and they are really pretty underneath all of it.
Yeah, they are. They're exquisite. I mean, I've seen some beautiful women. When you meet them, like I met a couple at their homes. I did a photo shoot for one couple and it was very interesting. I have to be honest. She was actually a doctor, but anyway, and it was interesting that they are very like us in lots of ways. I mean, like there's no real differences. I mean, they shout at their husbands just like us, like our wives. I shout at my husband all the time, but he shouts at me too. So anyway, so they're pretty normal. I mean, there's nothing different. The kids are the same, that type of thing. It's just they're religious and that type of thing, which is different. But we're all different, and we've all got to accept our differences. That makes the world interesting. And it's also interesting to shoot people who are different. I mean, because you're capturing something completely different to the norm, or to your norm, not to their norm. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. I think that's what photography's taught me, is to see how different we all are.
I think the first thing I want to go do is I want to just go out and go photograph some good landscapes for a change.
Okay, give me a call. I'll come with you. I think I'll look awesome for that.
Yeah. Right. I think before this thing cuts us off.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Jo-ann. It was cool. We had a couple of people watching on YouTube, because I could see that there's people watching. Yeah, and I've recorded the audio on this, so I'm gonna see if I can put it out as a podcast as well.
Well, let me know. I'll share it on my side too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right.
Okay, can we do this more often without the audience? Kind of like this. Anyway, go well. Look after yourself. Keep the little ones safe.
Yeah, and you guys as well. And enjoy the packing and all those kind of things.
I'm always looking for people to come help us move. Want to volunteer? No, I'm joking.
You've got 3 boys there that's on lockdown. Let them start packing so long.
We actually started today. If you looked at this house at the moment, I thought, why would I do this today? But yeah, so we've got boxes all over the place. We decided to do the kitchen and just have what we need for the next few days, for the next couple of weeks, and pack everything else away. But oh gosh, we've lived in this house for 26 years, so you must know how much we've got to pack. It's going to be
that you're going to throw out. But anyway.
Okay, cool. Nice chatting.
Thank you so much, and chat soon.
Yeah, enjoy the evening.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.